The following is a presentation of unidentified entertainment and 22nd century radio. Manassas, Fairfax, Washington, D.C.
Play Prince, Controversy.
I found a faster route.
Oh, good for you. Just play Prince, Controversy.
Listeners, new and old, thank you again for joining us. The Time and Space Radio Show has returned. Contact us via Twitter at Time and Space US. If you are not on Twitter, well played. You probably have a friend who's on Twitter, and if not, well played. We might provide other ways to contact us at some point in the future. For now, get ready for radio show contests. Try to win radio show prizes, ironically enough, using Twitter. Coming up later in this segment, another update on Chinese space station Tiangong-1. Before we get to our first topic of the week, which will be soccer, I'd like to do some quick editorial work. Now first, I know that last week's audio was terrible. I'm working on it, we're working on it, by which I mean we're hoping to have a studio announcement very soon. Apologies for the substandard work. Please stay with us. It will improve. Next, editorial correction for my discussion of China's moon. I stated that the GWP, the gross world product, was 107 trillion US dollars. I was citing the 2014 CIA fact book. And after reviewing the show, because I was trying to figure out the audio problems, it seems that I had a typo in my notes, so when I first stated that $107 trillion figure, I was correct, it was accurate, but for whatever reason, I used that statistic 2 other times, and I said 17 trillion, which is incorrect. Not that any of this much matters, because we were talking about a 500 quadrillion US dollar budget, but no excuses, accuracy matters, it's my mistake. We regret the error. GWP, for the purposes of that segment, is in fact $107 trillion. Not that you could hear anything, because the volume wasn't leveled properly. Anyway, last editorial correction, segment 1805, the unofficial theme song. Due to circumstances that I'm sure that I instigated, but still don't entirely understand, it seems that segment was blocked on YouTube for some or probably most people. The segment simply described a few notes about the song Controversy, which we decided to name as our unofficial theme song for the show. Again, we regret the error. I tried to include an old 1982 live performance of that song by Prince and the Revolution in my video. And even though I cited it and explained it, I mean, it doesn't really matter for copyright purposes. So by the time you hear this correction, the original show recording, minus the Controversy performance, has been reposted, and there is a link there to see the Prince show if you're that interested. Let's get this show back on track and talk about soccer. Enough editorial stuff. So last week, Captain Kirk and I went out to H-Town, also known as Howard's House in Bristow, Virginia, to watch on television the NHL Stadium Series game at the U.S. Naval Academy. Washington Capitals 5, Toronto Maple Leafs 2, final. The U.S. Naval Academy, which is about 50 miles east of where we're recording. Anyway, I had finished the first week of shows, and I was eager to get them out. And I uploaded the segments to YouTube while I was out at H-Town. Now, before actually uploading the content, users get this Twitter option to notify people, which is wonderful. I mean, really, what better way to connect to all of our fans, right, that we talked about last week that are in Pakistan and Zimbabwe and the Philippines? Twitter, right? The World Wide Web, because www. So thanks again to Lord Zuckerberg. Anyway, moments before I made the last click to upload everything to YouTube and tweet all of our fans around the planet, Howard had made a suggestion that I include Randolph Macon College soccer, just for the fun of it. Anyway, first, I'm enough of a dolt. I was watching the hockey game and sort of just clicking and rushing through things. And rather than find some sort of a relevant hashtag, I simply sent a copy of the tweet directly to an address that was listed on the Randolph Macon College athletics page. Now, I'm not a big tweeter, right? I just wouldn't have a reason really to be using it except for the show. But much to my shock, somebody that's behind that RMC Twitter account replied a few minutes later. This was their tweet. Are we in this episode or what? We meaning Randolph Macon College. So no matter how you meant that, I think it's funny. It made me laugh, right? So for the record, I replied that I would talk about Randolph Macon College in the next show, and here we are. And to answer the burning question of why I'm considering myself, and by extension the show, maybe a little bit connected to Randolph Macon, I'm happy to say I've met Coach Lux, Coach Schaefer a couple of times. They're really great guys. It's a great campus. It's a great program. And my son, who has a senior year to finish at Robinson, go Rams, high school, secondary school, he will then be starting at Randolph Macon in the fall. And hopefully will be on the pitch down there anchoring the defense, helping to anchor the defense. So go Yellow Jackets, beat Hampton-Sydney. For any American football fans out there, the rivalry between Randolph Macon and Hampton-Sydney actually dates back to 1893. That's how long they've been playing football. Isn't that amazing? Anyway, I'm really excited for my son. Looking forward to joining the community there. And, of course, I guess we hope to pick up a few listeners along the way. But that was why I had thrown it in there. For more information about Randolph Macon College sports, please visit rmcathletics.org. And quickly, to the person that tweeted me, thank you, first of all, for the reply. And secondly, thank you because you inspired this entire show segment and the contest. So let's stay on the pitch. It's soccer, folks. It's a World Cup year, people. Russia 2018 is coming this June. Now, especially since this show originates from the grand old United States, let's be honest, most of us here probably still struggling with the fact that the Americans failed to qualify, and we will cover that, I think, in a different show. For now, I'd like to invite fans, players, even casual listeners to get excited for the tournament anyway. It's just a few weeks away. Before I start with all the information I'd like to share about this, let me proudly announce the first of a few contests that we will have in 2018. Let's start at this point. Here is some basic Time and Space Radio show contest structure. All right, a couple of bullet points. All our contests are free to enter. At Time and Space US is our Twitter address, so always include us with your entries no matter what. If you don't, we may not see it. Each contest will simply have its own Twitter hashtag. We will tell you what that tag is in order to keep the contest straight. Our prizes will be paid in Litecoin, a cryptocurrency, which means if you win, you're going to need to have a wallet set up so you can receive your prize. We'll talk a little bit more about cryptocurrency and Litecoin later in this week's set of shows. Litecoin, by the way, is one of the top 5 used and traded cryptocurrencies in the world. And only one entry per Twitter account. In some cases, we may allow you to change your entry. So if you've sent us a tweet, depending on the contest, you might be able to send us another one to make a correction or something if it's that important. Anyway, depending on the contest, but only one entry per account. You can alternately email your entries to 22nd, that's 22 November Delta 22nd at cox.net if you don't have a Twitter account and want to participate. More details as we do each contest, but those are your basics. So first up, introducing hashtag Russia18Picks. Now here's the contest. Listen very carefully. There's 2 major pieces to this. First piece of our hashtag Russia18Picks contest. We're going to offer 2 different prizes. Think of it kind of like betting at a horse track, except 1, it's free to place the bet, and 2, we're not bookies. We're going to play this something that's called a simple box trifecta. You give us 3 teams, and if those teams finish 1, 2, 3 in any combination according to our scoring system, you could win $5 worth of Litecoin. The first 3 valid winning entries that we receive can claim a prize. Secondly, if your top pick wins, even if the other 2 that you put in there didn't show or place, you could still win $2 worth of Litecoin. Again, prizes to the first 3 winning valid entries. We're going to give out up to 6 prizes, If your valid entry qualifies for both prizes, in other words, you hit the box trifecta plus you've picked the correct winner, you will get both rewards. That'd be $7 worth of Litecoin. Now, the second part of this contest, the twist, the thing to make it really interesting, especially for the more dedicated soccer nerds that hear about this. You cannot choose a country from South America or Europe. Yes, that just happened. That leaves just 13 teams for you to pick from in this upcoming World Cup. And it leads me into some crazy information about FIFA and the World Cup that I thought I would share. Because, as we like to say here at the radio show, we're trying to entertain, but also to inform. So hashtag Russia18picks. We're limiting this contest to the first 3 entries that meet the criteria as it's been explained so far. Rewind and review if you must. I'll summarize very quickly. Twitter-based contest, Litecoin prizes, hashtag Russia18picks. You give us your top 3 finishers. Valid entries can win a prize. You can't choose teams from South America or Europe. Okay. Quickly to the scoring system, which will be very similar to the way a soccer tournament works, just like the World Cup works. Very simple. A win is worth 3 points. For the hashtag Russia18picks contest, it will not matter if the win is in the group round or the knockout stage. A draw is worth 1 point. Draws only occur in the group round. A penalty kick shootout loss will also be worth 1 point. Penalty kick shootouts only occur in the knockout stage. And this is only for our scoring for our contest, hashtag Russia18picks. That's obviously not how it actually works in the World Cup. And a loss is worth 0 points. I'm sorry, but we do not give out participation ribbons. The teams you choose do not need to make it to a certain stage or win the whole tournament. They just need to outscore the others in the field according to our scoring system. Most points wins. Okay, now to the field. The history of the World Cup is something I could spend a ton of time on. How it is structured and how it's evolved are important stories. Still, I'm not sure that the sport is properly appreciated here in the United States. It is definitely different now than it was 25 years ago heading into USA 94. There's no question about that. Now, before I explain the field of teams that we're going to use for this contest, allow me to drop a couple of incredible facts about the World Cup. There have been 20 tournaments so far. The first one was in 1930. A team from Europe has won 11 times. A team from South America has won 9 times. Believe it or not, this actually followed a pattern. For the first 18 World Cups, if it was held in Europe, a European nation won. If it was held outside of Europe, a South American team won. It's really interesting stuff. Spain eventually snapped this streak. South Africa 10, they ended up winning. And in fact, South America was already out of it because it was 2 European teams in the final. Europe has won 4 of the last 5 World Cups and is looking to win its 4th in a row in this Russia tournament. 14 of the 32 teams that are heading to Russia are from European football. They're European teams. So let's talk about how FIFA is structured, and it'll help clarify how this field that we've dreamt up makes more sense. There are 6 major federations in FIFA. That's soccer's world governing body, for people who don't know that. UEFA, that's also known as the European Union. Something called CONMEBOL, or the Confederación Sudamericana. Those 2, essentially, are the 2 federations where all the World Cup winners have come from. Okay? And those are the 2 that we're eliminating from our contest. Let's talk about the other 4. CONCACAF, that's where we are. That's North and Central America and the Caribbean, I'm sorry, which way you want me to pronounce it. Maybe send me an email, let me know. You have the African Federation, the CAF, the AFC, which is the Asian Federation, and the OFC, which is the Oceania Federation. Now, as explained for the contest, no team from Europe or South America can be picked for your entries, frankly, because everyone would just choose Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Germany, or Spain, right? So go look at the whole table if you want to see the full 32-team field. For now, here are the 13 teams participating in the World Cup that are not from Europe or South America. Just 13. These are the teams that will be competing for glory in hashtag Russia18picks. Now, I'm going by group here, not alphabetical order or anything. We're going to go A through H very quickly. These are the 13 teams. Egypt, known as the Pharaohs. They're led by a guy named Salah, plays for Liverpool. And also in the same group, Saudi Arabia, the Green Falcons, led by a player named Mohammed Al-Salawi. Excuse me for the pronunciations. I'm going to struggle with those. I'd probably give up on it. Over in Group B, we have Iran, Team Melli, and Morocco, the Lions of the Atlas, led by a guy named Benatia, who played for Juventus at one point. In Group C, Australia, the Socceroos, Tim Cahill, I believe, making his 4th World Cup appearance. We're all familiar with him. Over in Group D, Nigeria, the Super Eagles. Costa Rica in Group E, the Ticos, led by Brian Ruiz. Over in Group F, we have another 2 teams, the Korea Republic, the Red Devils, led by Ki Sung-young with Swansea City. A team we're all familiar with. We'll come back to the CONCACAF. Everybody here in the United States knows these guys very, very well. Mexico, El Tri. Of course, Chicharito, Javier Hernandez. In Group G, we have Panama, the Red Tide, Blas Perez, one of their leading players. That's the 3rd of the CONCACAF teams that made it. This is easily my nomination for my favorite sort of nickname, if you will, of a team. Tunisia, the Eagles of Carthage. It's just magnificent, isn't it? Led by Youssef Masakni. Finally, in Group H, Japan, the Blue Samurai. Yoshida from Southampton, of course, leading Japan. They're always just very exciting to watch. And finally, the Lions of Teranga, Senegal, led by Mane, also from Liverpool, kind of bookending our field. So there's your 13 teams: Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Morocco, Australia, Nigeria, Costa Rica, Korea Republic, Mexico, Panama, Tunisia, Japan, and Senegal. Those 13 teams, the entire field representing the rest of the planet, aside from Europe and South America. So pick the 3 teams of these 13 that you think are going to do the best this June in the World Cup, and send your picks via Twitter to @TimeAndSpaceUS using the hashtag Russia18picks for your chance to win Litecoin prizes. We will post a copy on Twitter of this list, including rules, and we will update you about the contest as Russia 18 gets closer. And if you were able to decipher all of that on the first go-around, very well played. Please feel free to place your bets as Russia 18 gets closer. Speaking of getting closer, it's Chinese dynamite in a can. It's snakeheads on a plane. We need to check in on Space Station Tiangong-1, shall we? And hey, look, it's another radio contest. Another radio show contest. Here's the new hashtag. Hashtag TiangongDown. We will be excitedly updating you here on Time and Space during the waning days of Tiangong-1 as it slowly and uncontrollably descends back into Earth's atmosphere, spewing hydrazine fuel, eventually impacting in a location yet to be determined. You tell us the date when you think that piece of junk will finally crash and burn. First 5 correct entries win $2 worth of Litecoin as a prize. That's hashtag TiangongDown, hashtag TiangongDown. Now, I'm going to avoid endorsing specific apps, okay? I found several. There's a couple that I really like, one for my laptop, one for my smartphone, where you can follow the exact flight path of things like the International Space Station and Tiangong-1 and many other satellites. And even more fun than that is that the app I have on my phone, if you remember an older app, those of you who may have ever seen this, called Stargazer, where you could take your phone and point it up at the stars, and as you moved your phone around, it would show you the different stars or constellations or planets or whatever it was. Really awesome. This app has a very similar feature, and depending on the uncooperative weather that you might be dealing with, when the object passes, you'll actually be able to point up and say, hey, look, that's what that thing is. Now, if you missed our segment explaining Tiangong 1, just go back to last week. I've been catching all kinds of interesting articles popping up about the impending crash, and we have lots more to get to this week, but we're going to be tracking the impending disappearance of Tiangong 1 from our scopes. And frankly, even though the odds are really minuscule, I really have to say, I hope that some of the re-entry takes place as it passes through my field of view, because it would really be cool to be able to say that I looked up and saw it burning up, this bright red streak just shooting across the sky. So anyway, enter our contest, win you some Litecoin, hashtag Russia18picks. We want your top 3 teams from the field of any team in the upcoming World Cup that is not from South America or Europe. There's 13 to choose from. And hashtag Tiangong down, send us the date that you think the first of the Chinese space stations, Tiangong 1, is finally going to re-enter the atmosphere, break up, and possibly strike a major city at more than 10,000 miles per hour. Next up, we're going to discuss cryptocurrency, later on abduction cases. Thank you very much for listening. We will be right back.
22nd Century Radio,